excited to talk about this book series. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. Here we talk about books, fashion, pretty much anything I feel like talking about at the moment. And right now, I am so excited to talk about the Summer I Turned Pretty series, the Trilogy. So I just finished reading this book, well, the Trilogy today. I started the final book yesterday and I finished it today. And I gotta tell you, like, I got so into it. I didn't think I would be, because when I watched the show, the first season, I wasn't really that big of a fan. Like, it just wasn't for me. So I didn't hate it and I didn't dislike it. I just felt like I couldn't really get into it. And then later on I found that it was a book series and I was like, oh, like, I'm gonna just like get it whenever I get it, and then I'll read it and then I'll come back to the show. And then from probably halfway into season 1 up until now, I have not gotten the book series until like maybe a month or so ago, or maybe a few weeks ago. As season 3 was progressing, I was like, now I have to read it, because I started seeing so many clips on what was happening in season 3 that I was like, we want to know, how did we get to this point? Because I thought this was just about a girl and like 2 boys who grew up together and that was it, kind of thing, and that it took place in the summer. So I was like, you know what, let me go read it. I'm going to read it and see how much different is it from the show. And here we are. And I fell in love. But before we dive in, my outfit today is actually really inspired from the show. I'm going to have like a picture somewhere on like which outfit specifically, even though everybody probably knows. The top is from Hollister. This is a crop top. I got this like, maybe like 2017, maybe 2018. I got this shirt and somehow it still fits. And this top is from Express. I got this such a long time ago, so I couldn't even tell you what year I got this. So I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to just wear this because she wore something just like this and I happen to have it in my closet. So I'm also really excited because of that. A lot of my YouTube videos, the long length ones, I like to have an outfit that is on point with what the book was about, what our main character wears, anything relating to the book itself. And in this case, I actually found something, so I was really happy. And I know in this outfit, she wears like, I believe, straight pants, straight jeans, but I decided to go for shorts because it's something that she normally wears, or at least that's what I've read in the books. She would wear shorts, or she would wear big shirts and stuff like that. So I thought, why not just wear the shorts? It's summer, it feels great, it's cool. Drink of the day, Belly would, out of everything I have in my fridge at the moment when it comes down to drinks, I feel like Belly would appreciate this one the most. Because if there's one thing about Belly, she loves sugar. She loves sugar and sweets and everything pastry, everything candy. And I'm reading the book and I'm like, how are you still the way that you are? How are you still healthy? Because all the sugar that she consumes throughout the series is just like, I couldn't even take in half of it because I would be damaging my body so much. So for today's drink, it's gonna be a cran strawberry juice, because out of everything, this is probably the most sugary drink that I have. So sit back, have a drink with me, and let's talk about the series. It is so sweet. I will be reading the back of the deluxe set box because this is the one that I have. And I wanted to get the hardcover one, but I think when I was trying to buy this series, they didn't have it available. Like, it was sold out. So I had this option, which isn't bad because I got all 3 at a really decent price. And it's a deluxe paperback, so it does come with like the edges, which I really appreciate a lot. They're like waves and it's blue and I love blue, so it's cute. And then these are the 3 books. So I will dive into the box and then I will read each and every one of the book descriptions. Belly has always lived for the summertime because summer means all of her favorite things: swimming, the beach, and the Fisher boys, Conrad and Jeremiah. For as long as she can remember, she shared her summers with the brothers at Cousin's Beach. And for as long as she can remember, she has been in love with Conrad. But all it takes is one summer for things to change. And now Conrad might have feelings for Belly too, as does Jeremiah. As the summer seasons pass, Belly has to choose between the two boys she loves the most, knowing that she'll have to break one of their hearts. So that is the book description that came in the deluxe box. This is for book 1, The Summer I Turned Pretty. Some summers are just destined to be pretty. When each summer begins, Belly leaves her school life behind and escapes to Cousin's Beach, the place she has spent every summer of her life. Not only does the beach house mean home away from home, but her favorite people are there. Susanna, her mother's best friend, and her sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly has been chasing Conrad for as long as she can remember, and more than anything, she hopes this summer will be different. Despite distractions from a new guy named Cam and lingering looks from Conrad's brother Jeremiah, Belly's heart belongs to Conrad. Will he offer his to her? Will this be the summer that changes everything? This is book 2. It's not Summer Without You. Is it really summer without the beach or the boys? After spending every single summer at Cousin's Beach, Belly's life is about to change. Since her brief relationship with Conrad fizzled out this past winter, she'll be staying home for the first time. Her best friend Taylor has lots of plans for them. Both parties and tanning by the pool and new boys to obsess over. But when Jeremiah calls and says that Conrad has disappeared, all roads seem to lead back to the beach house. Will Belly spend another summer chasing after Conrad, or will she finally be able to let him go? And now finally, we'll always have summer. If only summer could last forever. Her whole life, Belly has been in love with the Fishers. Susanna was like a second mother to her, Conrad was her first love, and Jeremiah was her first real boyfriend. Now, after 2 years, Jeremiah gets down on I'm having a hard time with this. Jeremiah gets down on bended knee and offers Belly what she has always wanted, to be Belly Fisher. As Jeremiah and Belly head back to Cousin's Beach to plan their wedding, Conrad comes home to tell Belly he made a mistake when he broke her heart. Now Belly must confront her feelings for Jeremiah and Conrad and face the truth she has possibly always known. She will have to break one of their hearts. And that's book 3. Guys. What? Like, honestly, like, okay, alright, let me talk about the reading time. So I have it on my phone. I actually recorded the first book. I read August 14th and I finished August 18th, so it took me like 4 days to finish the first book. The second book I read from the 18th through the 23rd, so it took me 5 days. And then book 3, August 24th through August 25th, which is today. I couldn't put it down. I really wanted to see how this played out, especially since season 3 is out. Each book was around like 270 so pages, and it wasn't a hard read whatsoever. So I mean, I feel like you could finish this book in a day. Like, if I had all day yesterday to read the book, I would have, and I would have been done. But I read half of it yesterday, and then I read some this morning, and then I read the rest during my lunchtime at work. Pretty easy read. Definitely, if you want to spend the day at the beach, definitely read one of these books. At least finish one of them by the time you're done with being at the beach. And it was very nice. Like, the font's not that big, but it's not that small, so you're getting like a decent amount of words in per page, which is cool. So if you're looking for something quick to read that isn't a standalone, I would definitely recommend this book, especially if you're trying to really look for something to read on the beach. Definitely pick this up. Really, really good. If you've seen the show, pick up the book too, because there are some differences between the book and the show, but for the most part, they did a really great job. Anyway, The first book, I don't really remember too much of, which is funny because I don't really remember much about the first season either. And I remember I was watching that not that long ago either, before I got into season 2. So I do know that she gets involved with some guy named Cam Cameron, and that's pretty much all I remember. So book 1 is kind of like, for me, it was okay. Like, it wasn't bad, but it's just, again, like with season 1 as well, I just kind of like loomed over it. And it was book 2 and 3 that really like got me a lot better, and I was able to like hold on to the book and continue reading it. And I just finished season 2 as well over the weekend, so I was just like, oh, there are things that aren't in the show that were in the book, and then some things were kind of like changed. So from the first thing that's coming to my head is the Christmas scene, which was honestly one of my favorites in both the book and the show. I thought that even though they were both different, it was just one of those rare moments where I was just like, oh, I still like it. Because I'm someone who would read a book, and then when I watch the movie or the show of it, I'm just like, why did they do that? Why did they delete that scene? Why did they change the scene to that? I am that person, and I will always say that the book is better than the movie, because the book has just so many details that I feel like in a movie or in a show just they don't really grasp it sometimes. But bro, Amazon did a pretty great job, in my opinion. And with that Christmas scene, this is spoilers, the Christmas scene that happens in the book, Belly and Conrad did not do anything more with each other. They didn't do what they did in the show, which she ends up sleeping with her first love, which was beautiful. Like, how it was played out was really, really nice. In the book, the chapter ends with Conrad asking Belly if she's okay, and then she's like, yes, I'm okay. And I think she also asked him if he was okay. And then that was the end of it, even though he kind of wanted to do something, or at least it seemed like it to me. He didn't push it any further. And in the show, he still didn't push it. It was something that just happened naturally between the two of them. They were alone in the summer home, and they made love, and it was beautiful. Like, it was a very beautiful scene, how it was very similar to the book, where she found the hot cocoa, and like they were trying to be warm because it was cold in the house and stuff like that. And just the way it all played out was beautiful, and that was honestly a highlight for me as well. I loved it. I loved the show, how they did it. I loved the way the book did it. It was beautiful, because also at the end of the day, we have to remember that they are not adults. If I remember right, during book 2, she is like maybe 16, 17, and then Conrad is about 2 years older than her. So I loved that we still kept that innocence in both the book and the show. They didn't make the scene spicy at all in the show, which I appreciated, because again, they are kids. They're barely adults, you know, so I really appreciated how soft it was, how innocent it was, how beautiful it was. Like, it was just amazing. I loved it. So that was a difference that I could think of immediately that I loved, and I enjoyed it. Another one would have to be how the show incorporated the brother Stephen, Belly's brother Stephen, and Taylor a lot more than they did in the book. In the book, it seems as if like the story is just about Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad, and then on occasion it would be her mom, but not really much her brother, because she mentions in the book a lot that, you know, Stephen didn't like feeling left out. Stephen, it would have been great if Stephen was here, and he's not. Along with Taylor, there are moments where I feel like Taylor would have been really great, and in the book, my God, like especially in book 3, I just feel like some sort of character development happened here, and I wasn't aware, because Taylor's character from the beginning of the book up until the end, I loved it. I loved that it just seemed like she grew up a little bit, and like her ways of thinking, how she would be sometimes, like, changed. I loved it. It was great. So, like, going back to, like, Stephen and Taylor, very specifically in season 2, when they're trying to save the house because it's about to be sold. In the book, Stephen and Taylor were not involved. It was just Jeremiah, Belly, and Conrad, and then Belly's mom. And we just cut right to the father trying to not keep the house in the book. In the show, oh, and in the books, like, Belly even mentions, you know, like, Stephen was kind of upset that he didn't know that this was happening, and that I know that he doesn't like feeling left out, especially since, you know, those are his best friends that he grew up with. And I really love that in season 2 they incorporated Stephen and Taylor. Stephen was like, we're gonna go. We weren't invited, but we're gonna go anyway, because, you know, we all lived here and whatever, and those are my friends. So I really, really loved that. And they did change a little bit. They added, like, the Beck's sister, which in the book I don't think she's really mentioned at all. So it was really interesting how they added another family member into the picture. Then they bring the father over, and then it goes exactly as the book went. Like, the words were so on point. I was just like, whoa. I love when they're so on point. So I was cut off due to my mic dying, but I do appreciate it when I watch a movie or a show and the words are so on point. Like, I know exactly where they're getting this line from, because it's exactly in this chapter, in this line of the book. And I was like, oh my god, like, I was like in love with that. So I loved it. Another thing I could really appreciate about the show that the book actually didn't really do for us was also give Belly's mom, like, more of a storyline. She was very much more included, and they gave her her own life. And there's a very particular scene that I'm remembering from season 2 when she's at this publishing event or something like that, and she's sitting and she has her books and she's trying to, like, talk to people about it. And I really do think that the cover of that book is It's Not Summer Without You. I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna have a picture here somewhere on, like, that moment, but I'm pretty sure it's the same name as this, and she's talking about how the book is about friendship and how she lost her best friend, that it just wasn't about grief though. So I'm like, oh my god, I think that's the name of the second book, and we're on season 2. That really makes sense. I love that they gave her more of a story, and she's, like, talking to somebody about, or at least this person is trying to talk to her about how she should talk about her feelings with Belly, because, I mean, at the end of the day, they were both going through it. You know, Belly's mom lost her best friend, and Belly lost her best friend in a way. Like, Beck was, like, the bestest to her. It was, like, as if it was her second mom and stuff like that. So they both lost a person very, very close to them. And Belly's going through it, and then her mom is going through it, and it's just, I think it would have been very nice. It would be nice if Laurel told Belly how she was feeling, that, you know, Belly's not alone in the grief that they were both experiencing, that she's human too. Because also in the book, I can't remember if they talked about this in the show, but I know in the book Belly talks about how she thinks her mom just doesn't have a heart. She has no feelings. She doesn't express herself. What is wrong with her, you know? So it would be nice if Laurel just told Belly how she was feeling and what she was going through. It was just so... And then, like,
trying to understand what Laurel was going through. I think the reason why I was so connected to this book too was because I couldn't imagine what it would feel like to lose my best friend. Like, I've had one of my best friends since 5th grade. We have known each other since Nintendogs existed and imaginary pets and all this stuff that I just feel like, and this is before social media, before smartphones. We were growing up with technology and we didn't really have that yet. So like, even when her and I were separated for 3 years, for middle school, we went to different schools. Somehow the world brought us back in high school, and we've been like together ever since, you know? So she is my longest friendship that I've ever had, and I couldn't imagine like losing her. So it's just like, this book, I'm just like, oh my god, like I don't even want to imagine what Laurel was going through, because I'm just like, it's too painful to even think about that. So I want my best friend around forever. Like, if anybody has to go down first, it has to be me, it can't be her, you know? I don't want to feel that feeling. That's also why I think I really like locked into book 2 and 3, because that's when Susanna has gone, and it's just now about what happens after that, because Susanna seemed to be, and I think it was also discussed in the book and the show, Susanna was the glue to all of them, that it's because of her they're all together, and now that she's not, now what, you know? And then all these things happen, and it's just like, oof. So another thing I want to point out that was I believe, very, very crucial to the series as a whole is the concept on friendship. I feel like this book really, really touches that in all different ways. We see that her love for a guy best friend, a guy that she considered her best friend, which would be Jeremiah, and then there's her friendship with Taylor, which is the one I really want to talk about. So throughout the book, Taylor and Belly, we've come to know, are very, very different people, and somehow they're best friends, right? I didn't like Taylor's character in the beginning because she came off just a little bit too strong for me, and not in a fun way. And I mean, I could kind of understand why she is the way that she is and stuff like that, but at the same time, just like, sometimes you're doing a little too much, Taylor, stop. Like, it's a little exhausting for me. So there came a point in the book where Taylor and Belly were no longer talking, and for like the rest of the summer, because they got into this very heated argument that led to things that they have been pretty much holding in about one another, and things that they didn't or did mean, and they weren't speaking for pretty much the rest of the summer. And one day they end up in the same store shopping for back to school stuff, and Belly was like, if I don't talk to her now, this is it, like, our friendship is done, like, I have to do something about this. Because I also think that her mom made it a point that it's very important to have friends like Taylor and stuff in her life. So, or something along those lines. So Belly was like really just like set on trying to talk to Taylor again, because she thought that after the argument a week later they'll just like make up and it'll be like it never happened kind of thing. But I guess, like, you know, Taylor was actually genuinely hurt by whatever Belly said. I can't remember at the moment. So eventually, like, she speaks with Taylor about like, oh, like, I don't know if this skirt matches, I don't know what this skirt would go with, can you come over and like help me figure out what would go with what? And she's like, sure, whatever. And then they end up being friends again. And I feel like that was a very interesting moment in the book as well, because I personally have gone through something I've gone through something like that with my best friend since 5th grade. We got into an argument like way back, and we ended up not talking, and I think this is when we were both in college, and we went to different schools within New York, but still different schools. So we got into this heated argument, and we didn't speak to each other for like 6 months. And then she told me I think I was the one who reached out to her, and then it was as if nothing ever happened kind of thing. And we just like moved on from that, and then we're still best friends. And we also passed the 7-year mark, so we were way past that. I was like, I took that scene very personally because I'm like, I totally understand this. Not that I don't think I thought that we would make up a week later or something, but I think for me, when it happened, I think I didn't realize how much time had passed really since. So she said it was like half a year, so I'm gonna say, okay, fine, it's been half a year. I'm gonna just believe that because I can't really remember how long it was. I just know that we weren't talking for a while. So I'm just like, this is friendship in a nutshell, really, because me and my best friend are completely different people too. So it's just like every now and then we are going to fight, we are going to disagree, we're not going to meet eye to eye on things, and then from there it's just a matter of, is our friendship going to be over because of this thing, or are we going to move past this and agree to disagree or something? I don't know, but I just felt them so, like, I felt it very personally because I have gone through that. And with my other best friend, I wasn't speaking to him for a while, and it had been almost a year for a completely different reason, and I am grateful to have him in my life again. And I was just like, I know that what I did was wrong, and I take full accountability for what happened, and it's something I won't ever do again, ever. So not being able to talk to one of my best friends for like a year really hurt. It really, really hurt because he's such a good person. Like, it's not that he was just a good friend, but he's a good person. So I didn't want to do that to him, and I didn't mean to do it to him like that, but I did what I did, and we didn't speak for a year. And I was just so happy that we talked about it and we're friends again. So, and with my other best friend, me and her, I don't think have gone into like a big argument to the point where we didn't talk to each other. And I also lived with her for like almost 2 years. So we're good. At least as far as I'm concerned, we're good. And these 3 best friends that I have are very important to me. And I feel like if I were to lose either one of them, I would lose a piece of me. And that piece of me will always be forever gone. You know, and I feel like Belly in that moment too was feeling like, you know, this friendship is going to end if I don't do something, and I'm going to lose a bit of myself if, you know, she's not around. So I really love the whole idea of friendship in this book. I honestly have so many highlights from book 2 and 3 that I don't even think I could fit them all in one video, but I did flip over to 1. I will read this because I feel like this is very important, and this goes for guys, girls, everyone pretty much. It's not just, even though this is like very female focused, this I feel like applies to everyone. This was chapter 43, July 7th, and It's Not Summer Without You. I will never look at you in the same way ever again. I'll never be that girl again. The girl who comes running back every time you push her away. The girl who loves you anyway. I release you. I evict you from my heart, because if I don't do it now, I never will. That page, I kid you not, I started crying. Crying because I was so happy for Belly in this moment, because this was a moment where she realizes that I am chasing after somebody who either doesn't love me or I don't know, like every time he pulls me in and I'm going with him, he pushes me away. And yet I'm still chasing after him. Why? Why am I still chasing after somebody who I feel like doesn't care about me and doesn't care about my feelings and probably doesn't love me the way that I love him? And I feel like this applies to everybody, where we end up sometimes maybe chasing after somebody who probably doesn't love us back or doesn't care about our feelings enough to not care, or I don't know. I don't know. Just like, it's being able to choose yourself first for once is a very, very difficult thing for some people, because, and I could say I'm one of them too, because you focus on trying to make that person happy. You want to see them happy, and you want to see them happy because of you. And you want to see that smile every day. You want to hear them laugh every day. And then at the end, they just keep pushing you away constantly. And they hurt your feelings, and you're still like going at it, and it's just, we get tired eventually. We can't, I mean, I feel like we can only go on for so long. And finally, she chooses herself. She decides that I'm gonna go. I'm going to be the one leaving you. Because all this time it's been you leaving me. It's been you telling me that that we were never anything, and that I should just leave, and that you don't love me, and all this stuff. You know, it's time to choose me now. You know, it's time to make me happy. And I thought that being with you would make me happy, and it's not at this moment in time. So I release you. I evict you from my heart. I just feel like it just really touched me. Like, I thought it was really something. And she was saying this to Conrad, by the way. It was towards Conrad, her first love, the first person she ever loved, the one who taught her how to dance, all that stuff, you know. So it definitely must have taken her a lot to be able to do that. And then in the show, hearing her voice saying it again, I was like, oh. I was like, wow, Belly. Shit, the way you're saying it is like really touching my heart. It felt very powerful. So that was the scene that I very appreciated very much in both the book and the show. That is a highlight for me. And then I haven't seen season 3 yet because I wanted to finish this book first, but I have like a highlight towards the end of the book that I really, really loved. And it really does make me believe in love. And again, this is with Conrad, so it's so interesting too how she decided to choose herself, and then she basically, I mean, I guess she had time to really figure out whether or not she loves Jeremiah enough to marry him, or is she still in love with Conrad. And I think that's really what she needed, because she had spent her whole life with these boys, her whole life basically with them, and she's come to love them both, but in very different ways, which she didn't really realize it until towards the end of book 3, is how I read it as anyway. I mean, I don't know if anybody else thought differently, but that's just how I read it. And as her memories with Conrad resurfaced and stuff, I was just like, yeah, you love Conrad. And, you know, whatever the future holds, honestly, if you feel like you two were bounded together forever kind of thing, then I guess that's it, you know? This is your person. So anyway, let me read the moment that I really loved. So this was from chapter 56. This is towards the end of book 3. We didn't know what was ahead of us then. We were just 2 teenagers, looking up at the sky on a cold February night. So no, he didn't give me flowers or candy. He gave me the moon and the stars. Infinity. I read this at the park, and I was like, ah! He gave her infinity! I loved it. I teared up. I feel like tearing up right now again, because like, I just thought, that's your man's. That is your man's. Go get him. Like, if this is the kind of memories that he gives you, this is what you think about when you think of Conrad. Like, go. Because if there's anything about Conrad, he's always cared for Belly in a way that I feel like Jeremiah and everybody else just it's a whole very specific kind of care. Like, he pays attention to her, he listens to her, he wants to make sure she's always fed. Like, there's a whole scene where, and then this is in the book and the show, where she's eating a Pop-Tart in the kitchen and he was like, is that what you're eating? And then she was like, yeah. And then he was like, I left a bowl of cereal here for you, and there's like fruit too, you know, okay, that. And eventually she does. And then like, he just always made sure that she was eating. Especially since there's a time where she's not eating as much because she is like anxious and like not really excited about the wedding that she has coming up, and her mom wasn't involved and stuff, so she was like stressed out, but he always made sure she ate, which is very sweet. And that whole like chapter in itself too was adorable because she didn't think that he remembered that it was Valentine's Day and that he wouldn't do these kinds of things because it's like, I guess he's above that or something. So for him to just magically pop up outside her house with the picnic blankie and stuff, and they had a whole thing together, they looked up in the sky and looked up at the stars and stuff, I thought it was a very cute moment. I really appreciated it. It was very sweet. I'm not sure if season 3 has it or not. I'm gonna find out eventually. But it was an incredible, adorable moment that I really loved in the book. So those are just a bit of like the highlights. I just really enjoyed this series. I had a lot more fun than I thought I was gonna have with it. And yeah, I don't know if I'm missing anything. I really do want to know what everybody else thinks about this series, what y'all think about the series and what y'all thought about the book. Because I'm like, I remember talking to some girls that I know who are also watching this, and they're like telling me everyone's team Conrad. Not a lot of people are team Jeremiah, and I could totally see why, because by book 3, he was giving me the ick left and right, up and down, backwards, upwards, to the side, all that. So much ick, it was insane. And I just like couldn't stand for it. I know that in season 3 he apparently makes a big deal about the wedding cake. I'm not there yet because I didn't even start the series, but in the book he didn't make so much of a big deal about the cake. He was upset about it, that the cake was gonna be like half carrot, half chocolate, because he wanted like a chocolate cake. But apparently people are saying in the show he's like so obsessed over cacao. Like, apparently the word cacao is involved a lot or something, to the point where people were getting so annoyed with him. So I'm gonna find out about that soon. So I'm excited about that. In the book though, he makes a bigger deal about like the wedding theme should be from like Pulp Fiction and Quentin Tarantino and whatever. And mind you, they're really good. Pulp Fiction, I actually really enjoyed that movie, but I don't feel like, because Belly didn't seem very interested, I don't think we should make the theme about that. But he was like really set on that, and he really wanted like the first dance between them to have like one of the songs from the movie or something, and I'm just like, is it what's going on here? Because like I feel like Belly doesn't want that, so I feel like we should come up with something else. But he was like making a little bit of a big deal, and then she gives in, because honestly, like the way that he would crash out and act weird with her about certain things dealing with the wedding, I'm just like, sir, you're not really there though. Aren't you like at an internship or something? You're not really involved in the wedding anyway to even get mad at Belly for certain things that she's doing for it, and certain things that she's thinking of, and the things that she doesn't like or agree on, you know. Oh, and there was like another scene that was another scene in the book that was kind of giving me the ick, so I'm wondering if the show has this too. I'm gonna find out. There's a moment where Belly is thinking about Conrad and how neat he is and how clean he is, as opposed to Jeremiah. He like throws stuff around and he just leaves everything a mess. He doesn't make his bed, and then Belly mentions that she doesn't make her bed either. But imagine, like, she started thinking about, am I gonna have to deal with this every day? Am I gonna have to do this, and this every day? And honestly, that scene was giving me so much anxiety because I'm like, oh no, too many questions, too many everyday questions that I don't want to have to put up with, you know? I was like totally feeling for Belly during that moment in the book where she's like thinking about all this at once, and I'm like, oh my god, it's giving me anxiety. So, and I'm like, you're basically gonna be his mom. You're not gonna be his wife because of all the things that you're thinking about right now. This is something that a mom would probably handle, not so much a wife. So, she's going to be his mom. Especially since she would have to give in to a lot of like things that he would want, because it seems like he would throw a temper tantrum if he didn't get what he wanted. So, I don't. Yeah, he was like, I was definitely not Team Jeremiah at all. I feel like Jeremiah's character was a lot better like during any flashback moments, not so much present day. Whereas Conrad was good both in the past and the present. And okay, honestly, after book 1 and then maybe halfway into book 2, I wasn't really Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah. I was very much Team Belly, like choose yourself kind of thing, because, and don't be with either of them, because Conrad was pushing her away a lot and he was being a little rude. And I think there was a moment where he might have been a little bit more than a little rude. And I'm just like, okay, dude, chill. So I feel like there was definitely a moment where I was definitely like, Belly, just choose you, bro. Go find yourself and then come back if you still want any of them, you know? So, but then eventually I ended up being Team Conrad, because really thinking about her flashbacks with Conrad and then what was happening in like book 3, I was just like, you know what? Team Conrad. He was great. He was really, really great, and he loves her, and he finally admitted it. So that's just my takeaway on that. But all in all, I would be Team Conrad definitely all the way through out of the 2 if I had to choose. So I don't think I'm missing anything now. I think I'm good with this. So let me know what you guys think of the books along with the show, because I love talking about it. I was really excited to make this video. So yeah, I guess that's it. My next read is actually finally going to be Onyx Storm. I have been pushing that off for a while since I finished Iron Flame, because one, I did want to read the Summer I Turned Pretty series, but also I've been told that I'm not going to be ready for the things that happen in this book. So that's that. So I'm finally going to read that book, and then I may be late in like making videos, because starting next week I will be doing my costume design stuff. So that'll be about a month and a half of me just really focusing on that. And I'm reading Onyx Storm, so there probably won't be a video for a little bit because the series is not complete, so I won't be able to talk about the series as a whole yet. And I think by the time I get through all that, I should be reading Wicked, because the second part of the movie is out in November, so I should be into that book by then. I don't know. Oh, well, there's also Love Hypothesis. I really want to read that book as well, so I may be reading that after Onyx Storm. Who knows? And then there'll be a video on that. So on that note, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, a wonderful evening, and a great afternoon. I totally messed that up, but that's okay. Have a great time, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.